No, I mean, do we tell them about the secret alternate version of this episode?
Yeah,
Oh, sure. That's what this is for.
Because this was such a challenge, I remember I read one of the very first drafts of this script, and it was so funny. But it was one of these things where we were spending a lot of time during Globnar and a lot of time in laser tag, and we're trying to thread the needle of this emotional story, and there's so many pieces that need to fit together that I briefly thought, I think this is an impossible story. I think I gave you an impossible assignment, and I don't want you to see you hang yourself. We need to figure out an episode that's simpler and makes sense. So we came up with a totally different story that involved. It was basically the concept was Blendin's revenge. Blendin has come back. He wants to get revenge on the kids, but he screws up, sends them all together 10 years in the past, and that while they're 10 years in the past, they spend the whole episode working together to try to get back to the present. And Dipper and Mabel observe. It's sort of like Back to the Future. They screw up Seuss meeting Stan. And as a result, Seuss is never going to become a member of the Mystery Shack. They've got this thing that tracks the butterfly effect that shows Seuss's life, right? And so they have to repair Seuss's future while also getting back to the present, while also undoing this thing with Blendin. And Jeff, we came with this story was as a group, we were just like, how about this instead? Yeah. Jeff, figure it out. And how quickly did you write a draft of that story, Jeff?
It was 48 hours, I think. It was like really, I mean, I had a rock solid outline. Like you have the story structure all figured out and you gave me an outline. So really I was just like executing a blueprint, but it was like, didn't sleep for 48 hours, wrote it. We did a table draft read of it, and it was like this triumphant, like, we did it! We wrote an entirely new episode so quick. Oh man, we're heroes.
Not we, Jeff. Jeff's a hero. Jeff got like a standing ovation. And Josh Weinstein, who's like a classic Simpsons writer and knows comedy, like said sincerely, like, I've worked with so many amazing writers in my career. I don't know a single person who could have done this thing you did. Like, it was amazing.
People were very nice about it. And then cut to like 2 more weeks of like crying and heartbreak and just like we're going back to the original episode and everything.
You wanted to go back to the original.
Yeah. I had this weird attachment to the character story in this, like the whole thing about like Seuss and his dad, and I was like, that's really meaty. We got to do that, and we got to make people cry. And it was like, I think I was like very short-sighted about it.
I mean, I don't think you were, because like looking back on that alternate story, it was clear and it was fun, but like this was really hard. So hard that I thought it was uncrackable, and that's why I suggested an alternate. But you felt that this had a greater opportunity for an emotional payoff. And I've seen so many people say online and in comments on Twitter, even in person one time at a convention, like say like that idea that you choose family stuff that you create over the course of your life. And that if that somebody earns being your family, you know, like that the Mystery Shack, these kids and Stan, they're Seuss's family, and that he's happy about that, like, is like something like people can use, and like we never would have gotten there if we had done that other story. So I think your intuition, like even though you were getting everyone saying like let's do this other story, like pull back to this one, and like we had back and forth, like you had a different ending, like I wanted to do this ending, like so it was constantly a back and forth.